Well, welcome to my channel, Mispronounced Adventures. My name's Alex, and this is a bit of a different one. Normally this channel, it's overlanding in my van from the Arctic to other parts of the globe. We've mostly done our section. Or it's electrical projects. But I got an email from Creality offering me a 3D printer, particularly the Creality Ender's 5S1. And I know nothing about printers. Well, okay, I know nothing about 3D printers. I know not much about 2D printers either. And this is a tool for van building which everyone doesn't need. But there are select people who do need a printer like this. And I already have a few 3D printed components in my van which I've outsourced to friends. So when I saw this come into my email box, I thought, I'm accepting that collaboration. Gives me the opportunity to get a new asset and forces myself to learn a new skill set. But I have no experience with 3D printers, so let's set it up from a complete novice point of view and do my first print and something related to the van, hopefully. As someone who's new to 3D printing, I can't really tell you about the specs of any authority because I don't know what most of them mean. But here's a list of some of the major ones, and if you want to find out more information, check out the Creality website. This obviously isn't going to live in my van, but they sent me the unit itself. They also sent me the Creality Sonic pad, which I'm not entirely sure what is at the minute, and some filament as well. So one of the reasons I did accept this is because I like doing silly electrical projects and making things. The ability to print some of my own brackets, or after I've learned some CAD software, make some of parts of those projects is quite a useful tool. But first I need to learn how to use it, so let's get it opened up and built. Quick start guide. Now let's just open the guide first actually. Ooh, stickers. Okay, assembly doesn't necessarily look too difficult. I think first let's get out onto the here. First layer done. Time for the second layer to get out. Oh, comes with some filament as well. Might have to put this on the floor. So many layers. Right, that appears to be all the part. I guess let's start assembly. All the bits and pieces needed as well to build it. Right, next up, the top bit to go on the top. Too tall to build it here. Right, printer built. That took less than an hour. Pretty easy to be honest. Right, printer assembled, and showing what's in the box and building the printer itself is something I can do. Setting up a 3D printer is not within my skill set, so there's no big point of me showing you how to set it up. There are loads of good videos out online about how to set up 3D printers because it's a bit of a learning process. From leveling the bed, probes, manual leveling, auto leveling. It would have been content of me faffing around for a long time trying to figure out what's going on. So if you want to learn how to calibrate the printer better than I could demonstrate, find other videos for that. But for the van context and my first prints, what did I do? So the printer isn't going to live in the van. That doesn't really fit. I'll put it in a different location. So I'm using the printer itself, which can be standalone, or I'm using it with the Creality Sonic pad, which is almost a bit like a tablet device which connects to it, and I ran it off a power bank just 'cause I wanted to see what the draw was. Power consumption is about 350 watts plus about 20 watts for the sonic pad, and that's usually only on the original and initial heat to get the hotbed and the nozzle up to temperature, and then from there it dials down, and actually I can leave it running off of the power bank for a few hours depending on what I'm printing. So what did I actually print? And like I said, this is a useful tool that not every van builder needs, because most van builders don't need a 3D printer, but for me, I like to experiment. It allowed me to make some things which I've been wanting for a while. So my first little test, I did Benchy, which is a print that I see everyone seem to do for their first test print on a printer, and a complicated model for a printer to print, and the quality was all right. Following that, my first useful print is I printed some M8 battery terminal covers. And it is pretty cool watching you build up objects. So I wanted to print some things which are a bit more useful. I printed the custom ducting, which I use on my Orions, which my friend Ian at Vanwood made a few years ago now for me. And I've always wanted to print them myself, because in the past I've had to outsource them. So this is where the ducting goes. Model particularly for these fans, and I've already got ones in here, but you can sort of see on the reverse where it would go. So fan bows in there, spits it nice, convenient, into the different fins. Something I've always wanted to clean up is the temperature sensor for my diesel heaters controller on my afterburner. It just hangs there. So printed it off and applied it to the wall. And on the Facebook group for this, someone's made a mount for the temperature sensor. So now, for all these years, I can finally have a bracket for it. Or my router. It's just been hanging around for the last 2 years. Typed the name of the router, 3D print mount, found the file, downloaded it, printed it, done. For me, there's quite a lot of learning to do. I'm still using a lot of the default settings, and I need to learn sort of the quirks of the printer and how I adjust things to make better quality prints. Definitely going to be a useful tool for future projects. And I'm also a massive nerd, so I printed some characters and parts from Fallout, which is my favourite video games franchise. Does everyone need the Ender's 5S1? In a van building context, no. Is it a great tool if you're going to put the time and effort into learning how to use it, especially if you want to learn how to use CAD so you can create your own things to print? That's definitely my longer term plan. And for that, and for my use case, and quite a few different van builders I personally know who love playing with tech, it's a great wee tool. So definitely, if you are interested in something like this, do look into the description below and check it out. That's pretty much all I've got time for. If you've liked this video, consider giving it a like. Comment-wise, I'd be interested to know what would be useful for you. What would you want to print in a van context or a van building context? And if you're not already subscribed, feel free to subscribe to the channel. There are more videos of my silly previous projects, which hopefully I can now make better in the long term with new tools, or some of my other overland travel up to the Arctic, for instance. So thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye.